It's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
You hear them every weekday right before us here on 104.5 The Team. Humpty, Canty, Rothy, and everybody. It is Rothy right now. We've got Dave Rothenberg with us, the loudest, proudest Giant fan I know, and the perfect guy I can think of to put my opinions aside and say, sir, what do you think should happen with Odell Beckham Jr.?
Well, firstly, of the Humpty, Canty, Rothy triumvirate, I would have to say the Albany area is receiving the number one of those three right now. I think we're all in agreement with that.
Of course, yes,
well,
of course. Until they come on the show again.
Until they come on. He's a weasel. No, it's all you, Rothy.
All right. Getting that under my belt. What was the question now? I got confused.
This Odell Beckham Jr. saga, like what? Half the fan base seems like they want him gone. The other half can't see a scenario where you would ever move him. Where do you stand?
I don't know. I'm very confused with the whole thing. I change hourly right now. My issue is, and I think most people would agree with this, he's immature. He's childlike. He's petulant, and it's difficult to continuously deal with a guy who is going to make decisions that you're not sure that you consistently love. Is he great on Sundays? He's the best. I think he's the best receiver in the NFL. But will you get fair value back for him? No. Is he a good locker room guy? Not sure about that. Do you want him to be the guy that's going to be the face of the franchise moving forward? I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I have a lot of concerns with Odell Beckham Jr.
Are you surprised that it's got so much hype around it, even though it's not Odell Beckham Jr. himself saying it or his agent? It's like reports that he might not come, and it's still getting this much press.
Confused, but I don't know. I'm torn. I mean, the Ian Rappaport report was pretty obvious that Beckham says he's not going to be back on this team next season if he's not.
Dave, you there? Oh, there you are. We lost you for a second, Dave. There.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Dave Rothenberg with us, of course. Humpty, Canty, and Rothenberg right before us every weekday. Big, your love of the Giants is why we're badgering you with these terrible questions you've had to deal with all day long. Anyway,
I love them. I think look, I think it goes to show us how dominant football actually is. The fact that we are opening day of baseball tomorrow, and you guys are leading the 5 o'clock hour with football. Right? I mean, it shows exactly what baseball is around this country.
Well, and again, it's this giant situation where they're historically the franchise, the organization that seems to have their head on right, and now you got this one guy who I have yet to hear him actually quoted. Like you said, Ian, you got one expert over here saying he's going to do this, another over here saying he's going to do that. Yet there's no quote directly from him, and I have no idea what to expect from him. Much like you're saying, you don't.
I have no idea. I don't think anybody does, and I think that's what makes it so difficult. The truth is, if you just didn't hear anything from him, if there was no video, if there was no peeing like a dog, if there was no kicking net, if there was no Josh Norman incident, if there was nothing, if you heard nothing from Odell Beckham Jr., you would be locked up to a 5-year, $90 million guaranteed deal, or $45 million guaranteed, or something like that. But because it's all the things, it's all the little things, and look, is he talented? He's a billion-dollar talent with a 10-cent attitude as far as I think a lot of Giants fans are concerned right now. So can you ever get dollar for dollar on that in return? Probably not. But do you want to move forward and every day have to wonder, what's this guy going to do? So for me, and I mean, I love him. He's a terrific talent. He's a great player. I don't even think he's a bad teammate. But, excuse me, I think there's something about him that makes him very difficult to deal with on a day-in, day-out basis.
All right, for Giants fans, is there a deadline, like middle of July, first week of August, where if Odell Beckham Jr. is not in camp by then it's a serious situation?
I really think, and I could be wrong, and I speak to a lot of people, and there's insight, and you have an opinion, and you change it. I really think that you're going to know in the next 4 weeks and in one day. I really believe that either they're going to trade him or they're going to sign him. And I don't think there's two ways about it right now. Either you want to move on, and even if you get 80 cents on the dollar, let's trade him. We'll get a 1, we'll get a 3, we move on, and we reshape the entire culture of this team. And here's this is important. If you're the Giants and you decide to, for lack of a better term, get into bed with this guy and sign him to a long-term deal, when he doesn't show up for the camps for the kids at Giant Stadium, when he's off in France and there's videos with Instagram models, when there's this is what you signed up for. So I think that we will know one way or the other by the time the draft hits, because I think that the Giants will either determine, let's just be done with it and let's move on and let's deal him for as much as we can get, or you know what, we're gonna build around this kid. And I think we'll know that certainly by April 26th.
Dave Rothenberg with us now, 104.5 The Team. So, Dave, I know Kuiper's mock draft came out while you guys were on the air. If this is real and Sam Darnold's available at 2, do they do backflips up to the podium to draft him?
I wish they would give me the piece of paper that I could go up and make the announcement. I mean, I would be so excited. I've been of the mindset that it's got to be a quarterback. There's no two ways about it. Look, Barkley may be, when they grade them, right, 1 to 100, whatever it is, Barkley may get the 99. Darnold may get a 95. But if I get the best running back in this draft, how long do I have that for? 5 years, 6 years? I mean, if I get the quarterback, in theory, if you get Darnold, who I think most people are really, really high on, and he turns out to be, Eli Manning or 80% of Eli Manning, or just a really good quarterback for a really long time, do you know the next time they'll probably have to think about quarterback? I don't know, 2033, 2035?
Yeah.
This is something that, teams don't get fortunate enough to go from Phil Simms, have a little blip, Kerry Collins, over to Eli Manning, and then over to another guy for 15 years. They had such a horrible season last year that they put themselves in the position to get this quarterback. I love Quentin Nelson. I love Saquon Barkley. I love Bradley Chubb. But you know what? You can get talent like that later on in a draft and just step in it. Quarterback, that doesn't come around. I think you have to take the quarterback. And if Darnold's there at 2, to answer your question as long-winded as I possibly can, yes, backflips up to the podium.
Any love for Baker Mayfield? We've had a lot of debates on whether we think he's going to translate to a pro quarterback.
I think he will translate to a pro quarterback. I don't think he translates to a pro quarterback with the Jets or the Giants. I think you make a monumental mistake. Look, if Baker Mayfield, we say this all the time on our show, if Baker Mayfield was Josh Allen physically, he'd go number 1. But he's not. He's a little guy, and he doesn't have the same arm strength as these other guys, and quite frankly, I think that's a deterrent. So do I think he has a chance to have a really nice NFL career? Absolutely. I think he's smart. I think he's motivated. I think he's talented. I think he has a good enough arm, but he's not 6'4". He's not of the pedigree of the other 3 guys, and I think that he will go 4th of those 4, and I think rightfully so.
You mentioned opening day at the stop of the interview. Right here in Albany, 104.5, The Team, your home for the New York Yankees. What are the realistic expectations for the New York Yankees and the New York Mets?
The realistic expectations for the Yankees, I think, are, the whole thing. I think it's very realistic to think that this team wins the World Series in October. At a minimum, I think they have to get into the postseason. See, this is what's kind of delicious for me, because I don't like the Yankees. I detest them. I would root for anybody over the Yankees. I'm a Mets fan. But for me, I think there's a lot of pressure on the Yankees. See, last year they were a fun story. They were a great story. They were, look, they got in and they won a series, but there was no pressure. If they would have lost that, series, been swept by Cleveland, all right, you know what? They did as well as they could, and they'll be back. Now they're back. Now they're loaded. Now they got Stanton. Now they've spent money. Now they're, completely loaded from top to bottom. So if the Yankees don't wind up, I think probably going to the World Series, you're going to have a lot of people that say this is a failed season for this club. I think that's unfair. What I think is, looking at the way they're constituted over the next, 8 to 10 years, they've got to win at least 2, if not more, World Series. For me, it's just hard to put one season that it has to be a World Series, but I would say that at a minimum, if the Yankees don't get to an ALDS, they have had a failed season. As for the Mets, boy, that's a much slippery slope. I think there's a chance that they realistically compete for a wild card. I think there's a chance, if health is not with them, that they struggle this year. Look, the 3 guys to me that will comprise whether the Mets have a good season or not, I think they're obvious. It's Syndergaard, it's DeGrom, and it's Cespedes. And if you tell me that all 3 are healthy and all 3 have really solid seasons, I see no reason why this team is not playing in that wild card game. But that's a lot to ask for. I mean, it has to go perfectly for the Mets for them to compete for one of those 2 wild cards. You can't imagine you're going to win the division. Washington is a juggernaut. You're not nearly as talented as they are. And so now you're competing with the, Milwaukee's and Rockies and Diamondbacks of the National League. But I think there's a real chance that when we get to September, the Mets are playing relevant baseball. That's really, as a Mets fan today, I think all you can ask for.
Dave Rothenberg with us right now. You hear him every weekday on Humpty, Canty, and Rothenberg here on the team. So I got to ask the question: why do Humpty and Canty feel the need to gang up on you all the time?
It's the question I ask myself every day. I think here's what it is. I think because they're the athletes, right? They played professional athletics, and they think they're better than everybody else. So it's not just they think they're better than me. They think they're better than everybody. All the listeners out there that didn't play professional athletes, they think they're better than you. And I am taking the side of the average Joe, the guy who just grew up watching sports and playing high school sports, and that they're different. Like, I mean, it's fair to say I'm a little bit overweight. I weigh about 232 pounds, 5'11". So if I lost, 18, 20 pounds, I would look spectacular. They make it sound like I'm 611 pounds. They're not normal. Like they have 2% body fat. Canty can lift 375 pounds. He's 6'8", 330. So I am the average guy on the show, and they are the professional athletes, and that's why they give me the hard time. And because I don't mind. I can take it.
and I'd like to add, clearly intimidated by the knowledge.
Oh, I mean, how could you not be? I have a sports knowledge which is, it's genius level, and I think they're a little intimidated by it. But you know what? They're intimidating physically to me, so I think it's all fair.
It's a fun listen every week.
Yeah, we promise we won't take that clip and have our producer send it to your producer and have those guys. We won't do that.
I don't think you'll do it.
Oh, now that you challenge us.
I don't think you will. You know what? Because I think you're lazy. I think your producer is probably lazy, and he is hearing this, and he may be smiling at this very moment, but for him to cut the audio, put it into an email, I don't think he'll do it. And if he does, then you know what? Shame on me. But I don't think he'll go ahead with it.
I'm thrilled. I didn't know you listened to the show well enough to know that producer Woods was that lazy. I appreciate that from you, Rothenberg. I do.
Well, you know what it is? It's basically my take on producers. So your producer, my producer is actually very good, but typically the producer can be a tad bit lazy. So you know what? I challenge you. I don't think you have the chutzpah to go ahead and go back, cut the audio, email the audio, because I think you're probably lazy. So if you want to do it, go ahead and do it.
Hello, it's the most awake he's looked in forever. You've put new life into our producer.
Look what I do to your show. Now the remaining moments of your show, he's actually going to be engaged. So what I've done for you is really helped out the remainder of the show. He's going to answer the phones. How frustrating is that, by the way, guys? When you're sitting there, you're on the air, the phones are ringing, the lights are green, and your producer's just like drinking a cup of coffee. Have you ever had to hit the talk back button where you're like, can you answer? Can you screen a call for me, please?
Generally,
this is what I have now prevented. Now I prevent it for the rest of your show today.
Generally, I start throwing things at the window at the booth he's in.
Throwing them like Randy Johnson. Yeah.
There's like a pen stuck in the glass.
Dave, we appreciate your time, man.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. You guys are fun, and anytime you need me on, just let me know.
That's fantastic. You can guarantee we'll be bothering in the future, man. Thank you so much, Dave Rothenberg, man. Good luck to your Giants.
We need it. Thanks.